So this is a Board of Health meeting, an additional meeting that we usually have. It's Thursday, February 15th. And present at the meeting is Sue Braska.
Tom Hibbert.
Mackenzie
Gary
Kane.
Putnam. Oh, sorry, Mackenzie.
That's okay. You're good.
We'll have to start going alphabetically. You go first.
So this
Okay,
is
Mackenzie
your-
Kane.
We gotta get you the right way. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. And there's no.
Yeah,
there's
I don't
no
know why I'm
public-
upside down. Pardon me.
Yeah.
That's all right. You're sideways for us,
For
but
the
yeah.
state. Okay, there's no public comment, so we're here basically to discuss one issue.
Yep.
And that's a tobacco violation. So I'm gonna turn it over to
okay.
Tom. You
Yeah.
can explain that.
So technically, we're not even gonna discuss the current violations. There's two separate places, but I won't get into who it was or what specifically the violation was.
No, you should.
Yeah, so no, because what we're doing is we're just going, basically in 2020, the state passed the new tobacco law, which like got rid of flavors and some other things. And one of the things it did was it significantly increased the fines. So there's certain things that are in our regulation that aren't in the state law. And our fining structure is 100 for the first violation, 200 for the second, and 300 for the third. The state law, if something is a violation of the state law, then we have to do the state fining.
Unless ours is tighter.
Unless ours is tighter, but which in most cases it won't be. So their fine is, for the first violation, is $1,000. For the second violation is $2,000. The third violation is $5,000. That is set. But there's also, if there's a sale to a minor, and it could be any of the violations, the suspension can be for up to 30 days. For a second violation, it can be from 1 to 7 days, and for a third violation, it can be 7 to 30 days.
And
So-
excuse me, Tom, the suspension is from selling tobacco products, right?
Yep.
Okay.
For selling, mainly for selling flavored products that are banned, or for selling any tobacco product to a minor.
Okay.
Those are kind of the main there are some other ones, but those are kind of the main violations to the state law. So we have of some violations that came in, and since we haven't done this before, we've never set the days for the number of violations.
Also, our regs are from 2016 and these
Yeah,
state
these
regs are
are-
2020.
So what you guys are gonna do today is just, we're gonna go through the specific first violation with the sale to a minor, second violation, and third violation, and just say, if that happens, without getting into any specific violation, our policy is going to be a 1-day suspension, a 3-day, whatever we decide, whatever you decide. And then once we've made this, and this will be until we revise our tobacco regs, this will just be our blanket policy. So if the violations that just happened, whatever we decide today is what we'll use. If I have a violation in a month, we'll use these same numbers for the suspension period.
Can I say something though?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that easy. I think, because these are our regs, they've been accepted, they're voted on, and they're out there.
Yeah.
I don't think we can easily just vote today and say we're gonna do this, this, and this, because don't we have to have a hearing?
Yes, so that's what will happen too. So this is just setting our I guess temporary policy for what, because in the template for the state violation, which I'm gonna have to send out, it says number of days as determined by the Board of Health. So the Board of Health has to decide the number of days for these violations. So this will just be our policy. And then down the road, two separate things will happen. So I'll send out these violations, and then whoever gets the violations will have the right to a hearing. They might just say, oh yeah, I did it. They might pay the fine, serve the violation, or serve the suspension, and they might not request a hearing, but if they do request a hearing, we would either do that at our March or April meeting, depending on the timeline of
Yeah,
everything.
but it seems to me they can say, no, these are your regulations.
But it's
voted on.
it's the state law.
I know
I'm not
that.
citing them on our regulations, I'm citing them on the state law. And the state
I
law
don't
says,
I don't know how we could be more lenient than the state
Right.
law. I mean,
Right.
in healthcare, you can't.
right,
You can be more strict, but you can't be more lenient.
right. So the state law says, this is for a sale to a minor. Sale of tobacco product by a retail establishment to a person younger than 21 years old shall result in the retail establishment being prohibited from selling tobacco products for up to 30 consecutive business days or longer term as enacted, adopted, or promulgated in a rule, regulation, or other measure by the appropriate and legally designated health authority in the city, town, or legally constituted governmental unit within the Commonwealth. So for right now, it's not gonna be a full regulation, but once we've gone through this all, someone will make a motion and we'll say, for this violation, it'll be this many days, and then it'll be recorded in minutes, and that will be our policy.
So the fine is set.
The fine is set, but the Board of Health has to determine the number of days.
So we're gonna fine them the first time plus suspend,
Yep,
and we have to do that.
We
because
have
the
to.
state says to do that, and
Yep.
that supersedes ours.
yep, yep. So that's for what's in front of us right now is setting this policy, sending the violation, and then possibly hearings. Down the road, I think it would make sense. We'll want to look at our regulation and make sure it kind of jives a little better with the state law. So that way,
And if the state law covers everything in our regs, we don't even need these.
potentially, yeah.
If it covers everything.
yeah. Cause we're also part of, the Pioneer Valley Tobacco Coalition, I think that's what C stands for. So that is a coalition of boards of health. It's run by Northampton, and I think they cover like 30 communities. So they do the tobacco inspections, and they do the sting. So that is who notified me of our recent violations, which I won't get into, but they're the ones who found the violations and reported them to me. So I've been talking with the director from Northampton, and she sent me a copy of draft regulations that we could look at, that we could use.
Yes.
So, but that's down the road. That's a whole separate process, a separate meeting
So
and all
those
that.
draft regulations include the state regulations.
Yeah, so they make reference to the state regulations, and there's a few different ways you could do the fines. But it kind of spells it all out in there, so.
So
So,
Well,
the fine. Go ahead.
it sounds like the fine is pretty set, that's set for violation 1, 2, 3, whatever. But that our
Right.
flexibility is in the days that we're going to prohibit whatever
Right.
sale, right?
right,
Okay.
yeah, and there's other things that are currently in our regs. And there's other things that are in the model regs that aren't part of the state regs. So like, something like, I'm trying to think of an example of one.
In our regs, we have, if there's a second violation, then there's a suspension for 7 days.
Yeah,
If there's within 36 months.
yeah. So something like, a violation for signage or something that's not required by the state, we could keep our $100 fine and say, you know what, that's not as bad as selling a banned product or selling to a minor. So we're not gonna fine you $1,000 for that. They kind of presented it with two separate options of, you know, for some of those minor violations, you could keep it with the 100, 200, 300. Or I think some towns have said, you know what, any violation is a violation and we'll get you 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 along with the state fining structure. But that's a separate meeting, so.
So this has to do with selling to a minor.
Selling to a minor or selling a,
Flavor.
selling a banned product, a flavored product. I think those are the primary,
Because I mean, basically the flavor products are aimed at children too.
right,
Um, I don't feel a lot of sympathy because it's basically checking IDs.
right,
And it's a public health emergency.
Right.
So that's my view. I certainly, you know, I think the fines are appropriate. I'm open to whatever the group, you know, whatever we come up with for the suspension time. And now is the suspension in business days?
consecutive days, yep.
Okay, so not
Yep.
business
So,
days.
and yeah,
That
any,
includes,
just days, general days, so it could be a weekend or,
So what
Okay.
does it say, up to 30 days?
yeah,
First,
yeah, so for the first violation, if it's anything, if they sell a flavored product, if they do any of the other violations, that's just $1,000 fine with no suspension. But if it's a sale to a minor, then it's up to 30 days.
and both of these were sales to minors.
We don't need to get into that.
Okay, right.
Yeah, just, I don't think that would be an open meeting law issue, but I think just in the, or
We're
not open meeting, but,
Executive.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, but I-
Because we're not talking, no, I think in the past, when there has been violations, we didn't
right.
name the person, but we named the business.
right, yeah, yeah, so,
But not
okay,
the
and that,
person who did it.
in that case, in this case, both of these violations were sales to minors.
And they were two different locations.
Yep,
Okay,
yep,
all right, and a sales to a minor is $1,000.
yep, so they'll, no matter what, tomorrow I'll send $1,000 fine. And it will include the timeline for the suspension. So the state law says up to 30 days. Northampton said most towns for the first violation, they'll do 1 to 3 days.
That's
So,
what I was thinking, 1 to 3 days.
yeah,
So what do you think, Mackenzie and Terry, for the first violation?
you know, I would almost say 3 to 7. You know, this is pretty serious, you know, pretty serious, but you know, hopefully the $1,000 would send a message, but you know, again,
Well, the whole point is it's like a double slap on the wrist, right? 'Cause you're cutting their revenue.
right.
I don't have a point of reference.
You said like.
I don't know.
Do you know?
Yeah.
South, you know, Westfield, what they do, or?
No, I'm not sure what because this law came into place and then COVID happened, so no one was really focusing on it. And then, so I don't know what Westfield does, but I think the reason they do 1 to 3 for the first one, is then because the second violation is 1 to 7 days. I suppose the wording for if it's a sale to a minor, I guess theoretically you could say 30 days, and if it's the second sale to a minor, you could do the max. You could do, no matter what, you could do the max for that. But Northampton said most towns in the coalition, for the sale to the minor for the first one, they do 1 to 3, and that way if there's a second violation for anything, you can go. The state says 1 to 7 for a second violation.
7.
But you could do 4 to 7, and that way, first violation is, you know, say 3, second violation is 7, and then your third violation is 8, could be 7 to 30 days. So that way, it's the suspension increases every violation that way.
All right, so
well,
my
we're
thought is,
actually
ahead.
just impacting revenue that they shouldn't have anyway, right? Because we're prohibiting or are we prohibiting all of
just tobacco.
All tobacco sales. So they have,
okay.
when we
Okay.
suspend their license, they have to either remove all of the tobacco products from the premise, or they can box it up and then there's like a special tape that's tamper evident. So I would have to go confirm that everything was gone and then, or boxed up, and then 3 days later, go back and, let me be there when they put it back on the
And then we
shelves.
probably have to say starting what day and ending what day.
Right,
Cause we have
right.
to give them time to box everything up.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, in that case, Sue's idea of 1 to 3, but why the range? I mean, why would we say 1 to 3? Why wouldn't we just say,
No, we're gonna pick, pick.
okay,
A number.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're gonna pick 3, 7
All right,
and
I say 3.
3.
yeah, I
Okay.
agree with
Three's
that.
my lucky number.
Okay,
So make them,
do you wanna pick the next 2
yeah,
and then we'll
Yeah.
just do one motion?
so let's do, okay, and then, all right,
So for a second violation, and this would be a second sale to a minor, or if they sell flavors twice. So
I'd say 7.
regardless of what type of violation, if it's their second violation, we could do 1 to 7,
Okay.
but I think we should do it at least 4, so it's an increase and up to 7.
I'd say 7. I vote for
7.
7.
I
Because
agree.
they didn't listen the first time.
Right,
okay, 7.
7, okay. And then third violation would be $5,000 fine,
Whoa,
and then we can go 7 to 30.
Maybe we go 10 for that one.
yeah, 5,000, that's hefty.
Yeah,
Yeah,
10, what do you think, Mackenzie?
Yeah, I agree with that.
okay.
I mean, and really, that's reasonable because the state allows us a lot more wiggle room with that. Did we just lose them, Mackenzie?
No,
Mackenzie's-
no,
Oh, okay.
they
It was
just go
me
off
and
the
Mackenzie for a
screen. Yeah.
minute.
Okay, does someone want to make a motion with all of those 3? Or can I make a motion?
You make a motion.
Can I make a motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so I make a motion that we follow the state tobacco regulations or nicotine regulations,
Mhm.
whatever they're called. So the first violation already is set for $1,000, but the suspension would be for 3 days
When there's a sale to a minor.
when it's sale to a minor. Not the flavor, that's it.
Not, yeah,
Okay. The second violation would be for $2,000 for the fine. It would be a suspension for 7 days for a sale to a minor
or any other violation.
or any other. Well,
By any other violation to the state law.
any other violation to the state law, okay. The third violation would be for $5,000 fine, and it would be a suspension for 10 days for any violation to the state law. Someone to ask. We can make it, I can think of it later. Okay, so that's my motion.
I second or third.
Okay, all in favor?
Mackenzie Kane, yes.
Terry Putnam, yes.
Sue Broski, yes.
Right.
Okay, so it passes. So you're gonna send out a letter and you're gonna cite the state law.
Yep.
Now, what happens if they come back and say this?
Yep, so if they, I don't think they can challenge the number of days. If they did if they requested a hearing, basically what they can say is, oh, we didn't do that. We did it or we didn't. So at this point, these number of days that's our policy. So I think they would be asking for the violation to be entirely erased or it stands. I think that's how the hearings work, so. But so they will have, I'd have to look at the draft violation notice, but I think it's 7 days,
Right,
to request a hearing. So if they request if I send this out, I'm planning to send it out tomorrow. If they request a hearing, potentially we could fit that hearing into our next Board of Health meeting on March 7th. And if not, we could always do it at the April meeting, so.
now what do we choose for dates? I mean, we have to choose a date, right?
Right.
And then we wanna give them enough time if they want to have a hearing.
Right, yeah, so if they request a hearing, then it pauses essentially until
So
after the
what
hearing.
dates we wanna, what date, when do we wanna start the suspension?
Um,
It's already the
yeah,
15th. You wanna
Probably need
start
to give
this,
them a week's notice, don't we, for that? I wouldn't start it next week, would you?
well,
yeah,
they also have to pick the letter up, it'll be what, certified or
Yeah.
delivered?
I can bring it I'll probably bring it to the store, that's legal service for,
And have them sign something that they received it.
I think so, yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
I'll
would.
probably do that.
So we have all next week, so the following week is,
Yeah, or you could even, it's up to you guys, but you could even just say the scheduling of the suspension will be coordinated between the health director and the establishment.
or we could just say starting February 26th. I mean, you have
Yeah,
26, 27, 28, and they can resume selling on the 29th.
yeah.
Well,
Is that
is the
reasonable?
Well,
26th a
actually,
Monday?
I don't know if we need to get into that now because it's not on our agenda to talk about the specific violations. We're just talking about our general policy.
No, but it's still a suspension.
yeah.
So when does the suspension start?
Right,
And I think that's important.
yeah, yeah,
And I mean, like you said, Tom, they have to sequester all of the products. So that's
right,
going to take a few, that may take, so I
Right.
like the idea of giving them at least a week's notice.
okay,
But
So,
we don't want to make it so convenient,
Right.
I like your idea of letting you work it out with them, but you're going to hear all kinds of sob stories. So you
Yeah.
already hear lots of sob stories,
Yeah.
and
The state, the woman from the state that I talked to, she suggested especially for the 3-day suspension to make sure that to make them serve their suspension on a weekend. Cause they do more sales on the weekend, so
Ooh.
it hurts more. So that's something to consider as well, so, and that would work too, I could go on a Friday. And then on a Monday morning, they could resume sales. So, so yeah, I mean, we could. I, I can't, I can't think of the wording of what we would say as our policy for scheduling. For each individual case, because like if we said, I mean, I guess we could say the suspension will start 8 days after the
receipt of this.
after the receipt, because then that means, on the 8th day, that would mean they did not,
Have a
they
hearing.
did not ask for a hearing.
Hearing.
So if they don't request a hearing, we could say the suspension will start on the 8th day after service. And if they do request a hearing, the date of the suspension would be determined at the hearing. We could do
Or
that.
you could even say it's going to start within 2 weeks of serving your notice, serving
Yeah.
this notice. That gives you a little more leeway.
Okay,
Right, I know, but it seems to me that they need a exact date.
yeah, I can give them an exact date.
Well, how
I-
do, yeah.
Cause I'll just tell them, this is when your suspension's gonna be, and I'll be there to confirm that.
But you need to put that in writing.
Right, right. Yeah,
So we just let Tom handle it when he serves the notice?
Are we still talking within that 8 days, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
8th day. So say if he served tomorrow or
Yeah.
Monday, you serve it on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It would start the 8th day, Tuesday.
yeah,
If that, I would say make it convenient for you, Tom.
Okay.
We really, and I wouldn't be so. I'm not sure I would want weekend for the first
Yeah.
offense, but that second offense, absolutely.
yeah, if it's a 7-day, they're gonna hit a week, no matter when it starts, they're gonna hit a weekend,
Yeah.
the 7 days.
But
So,
no, I'm, whatever you guys decide is convenient, but
Okay.
it should be convenient to you and
Okay.
not, you know, yeah, we want to be fair to these people, but they broke the law.
right, right, okay. Yeah, so I'll, in that case, I think, I can just schedule with the store owner on a case-by-case basis. Cause it, depending on the timeline of everything, it could get funky if we try to, get too specific in our policy, so.
Okay,
Well, I think with the 8-day guideline, you could even say 10-day guideline. I mean, sometimes you're gonna
Yeah.
run into a holiday, and well,
Right.
that sucks for the business, but that's
Right.
part of the deal.
Right. Okay,
is there anything else?
I think that's it, right?
Have anything, Mackenzie, you have anything you want to add, or,
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
and Terry, you all set?
I am good, thank you.
All right, so our next regular meeting is gonna be March 7th,
Wait, did we,
or what?
after you made the motion, we seconded and voted it, right?
Yes, we did,
Okay,
Yes,
and all in favor.
okay,
Okay, and then we're gonna have to work on our,
yeah,
Regular
so I'll
Okay.
start working on the regs.
okay. All right, make a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
All in favor?
Terry Putnam.
Mackenzie Keen, yes.
Yes. Okay, good. Thank you very
All
much
right.
for joining, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay,
All right.
thank
Bye.
you. Thanks,
Easy.
Tom. Bye, Mackenzie. Bye,
Bye.
Sue.
Bye.